Welcome to Enlightenment of Change on webtalkradio.net. I am your host, Connie Whitman. So I hope as you guys listen every week that you feel my passion, but also that you start to change your perspective so that you can clearly see your future and whatever that means to you by incorporating the little changes that, maybe stories I share or recommendations, but also my guests and the brilliance that they bring to the table and that we share with you to help you navigate those changes in life, whether you choose them or they're thrust upon you. Now, also to help you on your road to change, please go to my website, whitmanassociates.com/CSA, and take your communication style assessment. It's free and it unlocks a key to get into how are you showing up in the world or how are you being perceived on how you communicate. And you get a little report that tells you your superpower, but it also shares your blind spots. And the blind spots is where we really can have some magic happen as long as you're aware of it. So check that out, whitmanassociates.com/CSA, free. And I hope it helps you. Now, I am also asking you, if you're loving the show, to please go rate, subscribe, and write a little review. I love writing the reviews and feeling your love. It feels so good. So please do that as well. And then you don't miss an episode. Now, my motivational quote for today is by Jimmy Dean. And Jimmy says, "I can't change the direction of the winds, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination." Now, do you approach business or life really from a personal perspective, or do you think business is not just business and there is no room? I'm sorry, business is just business and there's no room for the personal connections. And anyone who says that business isn't personal, at least from my perspective, you're crazy. And business is truly personal because we do business with, I don't know about you, but other humans. Now, today I have an amazing guest, an amazing friend, also a Jersey girl, and she's going to help us understand what you are energetically putting into your business and how to listen so you can receive more and be of service in a bigger way. And my guest is Jennifer Urezzio, and I hope I said that right, Jen?
Urezzio.
That's good, Jen. Now, Jen is the founder of Soul Language, a paradigm that puts tangibility to soul so a conscious connection can be established to enable crystal clear decisions for success. And Jennifer is also a master intuitive and the author of 2 best-selling books. Currently, she has trained over 30 practitioners worldwide in soul language. And at this time, there are over 5,000 individuals all over the world connecting to their soul language. So please help me welcome my amazing friend and wonderful energy sharing individual, Jen, to the show. So Jennifer, thanks for being on.
Thank you so much. And you know what the best part of that introduction was?
What?
Being called your friend.
Oh.
That's what's the best part.
I know. I love it. And just for everybody listening, Jen and I recently met through a networking group that we both belong to. We connected and it was like we've known each other our whole life. At least I feel that way, Jennifer.
Totally.
Yeah. It's nice when you get to work and collaborate and hang out with people you actually like, right? And do have that same kind of energy as you, because it's intuitively understood without a lot of effort, and that's kind of fun.
Yeah, and it makes business easy. It makes it fun. It makes it flowy, and you're really building something together. Yeah. Which is important.
And it's more impactful. And I think it impacts the world and, our mutual clients in just such a big way. Now, what do you mean that our business has a soul? That, to me, that was fascinating, that question.
So people call in a business to do something bigger first for themselves and then for other people. So that energy can be identified, and we call that energy a soul. You can call it energy, its essential nature, it doesn't matter. But when, especially entrepreneurs, when they call in a business, they're calling in this energy to really support their growth and their spotlight in a number of ways. And so we can define that. And when we put some tangibility around that, that helps people create a more conscious connection with their business. Most entrepreneurs think that they are their business. No. And when you really realize that your business has its own agenda, it has its own energy, it can provide you with information you have a great sense of freedom, and it creates a lot more divinely inspired actions. Business tends to be easier, it tends to be in the flow, and you don't kind of waste time going down those roads where they lead to nowhere.
And you said several things. You used the word freedom, right? The flow, ease, all of those things. And whether people listening, you're in a career working for a company, or you have a side hustle, or you're full-fledged in business mode, all of those words resonate with me, because being in business and that exposure of not having a steady paycheck, and, there's some risk involved, right, with being a business owner. So when I can have that freedom and ease and flow and create beautiful things for my clients, right, that connectivity, I think that's where the magic happens. And that's where I think, as a business owner, I'm inspired by my clients, right? I hope I inspire them, but I'm inspired by them because of that flow and that connectivity. And it's cool. It's just a cool way to be and to live your life. Now, in my intro, I use that phraseology of, if you don't think business is personal, you're truly coming from the incorrect perspective. But what do you mean? I'd like to hear you describe it for the listeners of what do you mean by business is personal?
Okay, so what you're doing is you're putting your energy into your business. So if you're putting pain and programming, struggle into your business energy, it is going to respond. Businesses don't have free will. We do. And so that's what I mean by it's personal. And I think so often, especially in business, we tend to put our pain and suffering into our businesses, right? Especially in corporate America, they tend to be little family units of chaos, right? And so that's extremely personal, right? So when you understand that it's personal and you can make a choice about what you're putting into that business energy, you're going to put consciousness in. So I'll give you a very tangible example.
Perfect.
So I'm in the shower one summer, 10 years ago, and I'm yelling at my business. Where are my people? I'm pissed. Where's my community? I'm angry. And my business energy says to me, because I hear things, says to me, go to the beach. I was like, oh no, I can't. I got things to write and emails, and I'm so action oriented. That's my personal energy, right? Action. My business went, go to the beach. I was like, fine, I'll go to the beach, resistance all the way. I go to the beach, have a great day. I come home, and there's 3 new clients in my inbox. My business is very still in nature. It's really about receiving. It's really about heart energy. And when I step out of that, or when I put force into that business instead of power, it implodes. It doesn't go anywhere. So that's what I mean by personal.
Yeah, and so just everybody, Jen did a reading for me and taught me my soul languages, and the first one is the warrior, right? And as soon as you said it, right, I giggled. I'm like, yeah, the warrior. And
Exactly.
do you remember what you said to me at the end before we hung up? She said it 3 times to me. Do you remember by chance?
Oh, most of them are divinely guided, so
I will
no.
share. So she said to me, park, and I'm ad-libbing. She said it much more eloquently than I. But the bottom line was, park the warrior, and I have to learn that giving is wonderful. Excuse me, but I need to learn to receive. And that's why I feel like I'm action-oriented. Write those emails. Get it done. Work, because that's how I was raised. But internally, I'm not receiving when people are trying to help me without me even realizing it. I'm shutting people down and I'm shutting people out. That's the last thing I want to do for my business. I want people to embrace me and what I can teach them so they can turn around and embrace their clients, make more sales, and ultimately they make money, but they're serving more people. That's what I'm about. But if I'm not receiving, how can I share that?
No, not only that, but you're not receiving what over servicing people. And this happens to people who want to create a legacy, a movement, 100-year business like you. When you're over servicing, okay, you move into servitude, and that creates resentment. And so you're giving, and inside you're screaming.
Yeah.
And so then it becomes this push-pull, this tug of war. One of your soul languages is called transformer. That's that warrior energy. You're all about transforming everything.
Yes.
Right? So for your clients, that's great because you step into the goo and you're like, let's transform with grace. But when for you, that can be that go, 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 let's transform. It's more of a bulldog, right? And so that gets to be really balanced, because what's going to happen eventually when we keep doing that bulldog, imploding our business, we either wind up on the couch eating cheese. That's what I do when I'm sad, right? Or getting some serious distress disease in our system, right? That forces us to change. And then our business we don't fulfill our business that we called in, that mission, that purpose. I think especially entrepreneurs, they have this vision, right? They want to create something new. And that really takes a lot of consciousness, right? That takes to really tune in and go, okay, what do I get to do today? If I knew I was whole and complete, how would I approach business? And I think it also isn't personal. Business isn't personal in one way, meaning no one is the source for you. They're just resources. And I think so often people, especially when dealing with sales and client communication, they stay in an area of lack. Like, this person is the source for me, instead of just a resource. So if this connection doesn't work, another one will come along. And when I finally really truly embodied that, life became so much easier. Like, I have no agenda when I'm talking to a prospective client. And people tell me, like, I go, I don't have an agenda. And they're like, I know, I can totally feel that. And I was like, I'm here to support you. If it works and you want to get on my bus, that's great. If you don't, another bus is coming along, right? And that's I think true. It's a delicate balance for people. And I think it's an even delicater balance for strong women, because strong women like you and me go, no, I'm good. But you have to actually be vulnerable to receive. You have to know that you're safe to be vulnerable to receive. And that, again, is very personal in nature.
Yeah, and everything you just said, and that was our conversation to some extent too when you did my reading. And Jen kept saying, like, stop, because she would ask me a question, and then I would go, the ego would answer, right, the intellect, and she's like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Stop, and I want you to feel what I'm asking you instead of thinking. And that was such an interesting shift for me, because I'm always thinking, what's the next thing I gotta do? I gotta do that, right? And for everybody, Jen, most of the people listening have met me or know me or have seen me on a webinar or something, or watch the YouTube channel, whatever, that they know, like, yeah, she's a doer, this one. She's a get bleep done kind of person, right? So, yeah, so they're probably laughing, going, yeah, we see the warrior, Con, but are you ever in that receiving mode? And that's one of the life lessons for me that
it's a life skill builder.
Yeah.
Skills, I hate the word lesson, especially as a warrior. I'm like, lessons, right?
Yeah.
But as you step more into that being in present time, what it really does, naturally, it opens up your receiving, because you're not running by opportunities and you're present, right?
That's exactly right.
So you can go, oh my God, thank you. Like, Connie, I remember once, about 15 years ago, talking to a prospective client, and I'd be like, and they were telling me what they wanted, and I'd be like, oh, well, you could talk to so and so and so and so and so, and I kept and they're like, no. Finally, the client's like, no, I want to work with you, and I was like, oh, oh, okay, like, because service on crack, right? Instead of really being present, I was already in the doing. So it really benefits people to understand and how to utilize their essential nature consciously, and the energy of their business consciously, because you're wasting a lot of fuel in over creating and under creating, meaning action, or I'm just going to wait until the bus comes by, and there's 16 buses coming by, and I haven't gotten on that one because I'm just going to wait for the total sign. Meanwhile, bus after bus is the sign.
Yeah. And you don't know what you don't know. And that's why I love this show, Enlightenment of Change, because it's that element of, guess what? We all have blind spots. And Jen and I, before we started recording, I said to her, last year with COVID and being in business 20 years, you think that, I know business. And I remember it was about 2 months in, and I shared this with Jen. I said to my husband, wow, I've been in business 20 years. I don't know anything. That's the truth, because everything shifted. I didn't choose it, right? The whole world shifted. You're all feeling that, I'm sure, as well. And it humbled me because I thought I don't have to know everything, but I have to be open to what is possible now in whatever this new world is, this new environment is, as a business owner. And these shifts are really, I think, Jennifer, super important, sometimes hard to allow. And that's why I loved meeting you and talking about the soul language, because it gave me yet another tool, and I do like that word tool, for me to say, there's your warrior, stop. Yeah. What is your soul saying? What is your heart saying? What is your body saying? That's really where you need to come from, not from the intellect, ego, right? That warrior positioning. How can we start putting, like that example of me with the warrior, right? How can we start putting something more powerful into our business by understanding our soul language?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that anyone can do right here, right now, is to notice when they're putting lack into their business, right? So lack is going to feel like not enough time, not enough money, not enough clients, blah, blah, blah. If that is the loop in your head, when you start to hear that, just go, okay, thank you. I appreciate you, but we're going to pause. And if I knew I was whole and complete, if I knew I was safe and supported, what would I say? What would I do? What would I express here? And no matter what your soul language is, that tip will help you move from unconscious energy in your business to consciousness, right? Especially now, there's a lot happening, right? So understanding that no matter what the body or your mind is telling you, that you are always safe, you are always provided for.
Yeah.
When you put that into your business, crazy stuff happens. So I'm going to tell you another story because it's pretty funny.
I love it. Yeah. And stories are what resonates with people too. So yeah.
Okay. So this is a 10-year-old story. So about 10 years ago, my American Express bill, which was like $1,300.04 or something, was due. Okay. And I'm like, all right, God. And that's what I call my higher power. I'm like, I don't have it. It's not in the bank account. And I'm just going to tune in and I'm going to ask for guidance. And my soul language team and my soul said, don't worry, just trust. And you might want to reach out to, and a name popped in my head. I was like, oh, okay. So I sent an email, blah, blah, blah. And she got an email came right back. Boop. I've been meaning to contact you because I'm ready to secure those soul language sessions for a bunch of my clients. And I have that invoice on file. So I'm just going to PayPal you the money. And I'm not kidding. 1350 showed up in my account. And I was like, oh my God, that's great. Let's just pop it over to American Express, right? Right. But that's the kind of stuff that happens when you pause and when you listen. And I think it takes people a little time to gain that trust and to gain that practice, right?
Yeah.
But when you're running around with action, you can't hear all of that information that's being provided for you.
Absolutely.
And you miss the opportunities, right? So I call this co-creating with the how, right? There's always an internal action and an external action. And sometimes you have the opportunity and then you have to do the internal because you have resistance. Sometimes they happen like the chicken and the egg, right? But if you're not being consciously manifesting within your own business, which means putting consciousness in the business, which means evolving, being consciousness, you're wasting all of the opportunities that the universe, God, tree, Bob, cupcake, whatever you want to call it, is sending to you, because it's happening all the time, 24/7. Like today, for example, okay, I had a list of things that was going to happen today, and my 9 o'clock breakfast said, let's not do it, let's reschedule. Okay. My 10 o'clock, can we do it next week? Okay. Right. And then I got to show up for a friend of mine, right? And now I have all this space in my day, right? Now, I could have not foreseen that.
No.
But if I went, oh my God, how could she cancel the breakfast? Now I'm not going to get blah, 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 right? Everything comes to the screeching halt of consciousness. So you get to play with it and you get to find your perfect formula of it, but it's kind of the law, meaning that's the way the universe is set up. So why don't you start playing with it?
Yeah, and make life easier. And I just want to share, and again, people that know me, they might have heard the story before, but Jen, this is so important. I had been saying, as I'm aging, and everything I did was live. So I'd work all day live training, and then I'd go to speaking events because I love speaking in front of people and teaching people. That's what I'm about, right? Let me help you. Let me help you. And so it was 2019, and I was turning, I think, 58 that year or whatever, 57. And I said to my husband, I'm getting tired. I started the business when I'm 39. I can't keep up like I did when I was a kid, when I was 39. So I'm going to, there's so much more available with Zoom and digital, and I'm going to start creating digital. And I have the book on the shelf, and I'm going to, do that, blah, blah, blah. But then I continued working, and I do a little bit here, a little bit there. And then March 13th, 2020 happened.
Bingo, you broke the universe.
The universe screamed at me that day, people, as it did everybody else. But it was so funny. So the initial, though, and I will share, Jen, that initial, because my husband also lost his job. His company had closed. So he was looking for a job. I had zero income coming in. We have the kid in college, right? We all have bills, right? We all have crap we're dealing with. And that first day I thought, what am I going to do? I do everything live. I'm like, messed here. Right. And so the next day I quietly again thought, reposition, what can you do, right? What is in your control? This is not in your control. What is in your control? What can you do? And I thought, let me start working on the book again. I have the time to shift and pivot and do. About a week in after that, March 13th email from everybody saying, we can't hire you. We can't bring you in right now. Sorry, freeze. About a week later, I had met with the publisher. The book was on its way. I had hired a video person to create my course. I now had time to do all the things I kept saying, well, when I have time, I can do that. And when I have time, I can do that. And now I'm building this whole separate division within my company that never would have been possible pre-COVID because I was doing too much live stuff that I'm human too. I know sometimes I think I'm Wonder Woman here. I couldn't create what in my heart I knew I can help more people with, right, and serve more people, but I wasn't allowing myself because I was running from here to there to everywhere. So sometimes the universe slaps you upside your head and creates that space for you to stop and think. But Jen, I'm going to share with you, it's not easy. It's not easy to sit quietly.
It's not, right? Sometimes it's not. And especially for warrior energy, I say, okay, you know what? Don't go on the mountaintop. Don't commune with nature. Go wash the dishes, right? Put an intention, set an intention, go wash the dishes, and keep your mind busy, keep your hands busy, and watch it pop in your head, right? Warrior energy needs to be in movement at some part.
It's true.
To receive that information. And then you can start, as the information comes in and as you start getting more kind of in alignment, more and more, then you can be more and more still. But meditation's not for everyone. And so you don't have to force yourself into a sacred practice that doesn't fit you.
Yes.
I think so often people kind of go, well, no, let's find that perfect formula of sacred practice for you so you can start to listen. And sacred practice has a couple levels to it and a couple of portions to it to really understand. I get bored. So my sacred practice is different every day. Or I outsmart myself in that sacred practice. It becomes the lampshade. Oh, did we always have that lampshade? Because it looks new, right? So it's that kind of thing. So you have to find your balance. But here's the thing. The universe loves consistency, right? So just think about it for a moment, Connie. If everyone on the planet at some time sometime during the day was saying, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. Well, the planet got enough time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been devastating and horrible. And yet, on the flip side, there's so many stories about families reconnecting
Yeah.
and people changing and
Yeah.
people coming out stronger. And so it's really about consistency and really, understanding what you're putting out there. I call it good noise pollution every moment of every day. Not to monitor yourself or go crazy, but really go, okay, so I keep repeating this loop in my head. Do I really want to create that?
That's the piece. I want to reiterate what Jennifer just said. If you keep saying the same thing over and over, that's what the universe hearing. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. And I think globally we were saying that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the universe said, I'm going to shut this global world down. Bam. And it literally shut us down, right? Cut us at our knees. So when we say, so think about that on the global scale, but the individual, you say something over and over, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time. You're constantly running and exhausted because you don't have enough time. Oh, because that's what the universe gave you, because that's what you keep saying. So
Right.
You really do. I love what you just said, Jennifer. Stop. Listen to what that thought you had. And this is, guys, I think we have like 63,000 thoughts a day, and 80%, it's ridiculous, because we have brilliant minds. We just don't know how brilliant they are. So you have this 60,000, 80,000, whatever it is, thoughts a day. 80% of them are negative. So, and then tomorrow, 90% of the thoughts we had the day before, we're repeating. You can look up these stats, guys, because I did research for another show for an intro I wrote. So 90% of my thoughts every day are recurring. And if 80% of them are negative, that's what I'm bringing into my life. So really hear what Jennifer just said. Stop yourself, listen to your thought, and put shine a light and say, wait a minute, is that what I want to create? And if the answer is no, you have an opportunity to shift that thought right then, right there. Right, Jen?
Yeah, totally. And you don't have to be like paranoid about it, right? So I call it good noise pollution, right? So a perfect example, I was walking, we park our cars in a lot when it snows. And we're in Jersey and it's snowing all the time.
Yes.
And so yesterday morning, I had to park my car in the lot, and I'm walking back, and I'm going, okay, I'm safe, everything's well, I'm safe, everything's well, because all it's snow, and underneath it, you don't know where the ice is.
That's right.
And so I cross the street, because I'm like, okay, I'm safe and I'm well, and I hear cross the street, and I'm like, I don't know where to step, like there's no clear path at all. And I look down and there's footprints. And I hear follow the footprints. Because that person who came before me, if there's ice, you're going to see that slidey footprint, right? And I thought, oh my, like I was so like taken. I'm like, oh my God, like there it is. Like think of all of the things that had to happen for that to take shape. And I think people forget that there's all of this stuff in the unseen that's happening for us. But because we're tiny humans, and I mean that with a deep respect, we're missing all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
So when you pause and tune in, all of that unseen gets to be seen and a little bigger. And I think that's key in running a business, because there's so many things that happen. Here's another perfect example. I was tuning in, I tune in with my personal soul and my business soul, and I go, what do I do today? Blah, blah, blah. And one day I heard, contact this woman. I was like, okay, but I've never spoken to her. But okay, so I pick up the phone because I'm action oriented, pick up the phone. I go, hey, I'm Jennifer Urezzio, blah, blah. She's like, you're kidding. I was like, no, I'm Jennifer Urezzio, Soul Language. She goes, I was just talking about you with a friend of mine. And I was like, okay, like how would I have known that, right? Like how do I know the unseen? I don't, right? And so when you really pause and when you listen, it allows all of that stuff to be really provided to you in a way that you can understand. And even if we've all had those intuitive moments, right? We've all had that.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I was just thinking about you and the phone rings. We've all had them.
Absolutely.
So if you just focus a little more, that's going to create some magnificent things within your business and within your life.
And it's funny because, again, the warrior princess here. I've turned myself the princess, but
I love it.
Maybe warrior queen would be better. I'm teasing. I'm totally teasing.
No, I love it.
But thanks. You're so cute. But the do, move, and hired a business coach last year also, right? No money coming in, and I'm spending money. I want everybody to understand that too. I believe that the return on investment and spending that money is going to exponentially serve me, right? Because I have blind spots. We all have blind spots. Anyway, my coach said, I'm going to run this webinar in April. And he said, I think you need to hire this expert who can help you bring what's in your head, articulate it properly. So when you deliver the webinar, people are like, yeah, okay. So I know what I do. I've been doing it for 38 years and I'm really good at it, right? And all these things. And Connie, sales, yes. What does that mean though? So I just want to briefly share. So we've been working together and he will ask me a question like you did, Jen, and then another question. And we've come to the realization that really what I do, Jen, and this is the epiphany that really just happened, okay? What I really do is I help people tap into their own superpower. They are the secret sauce. I am not the secret sauce. Tap into their own superpower. And there is basically 5 doors to get to, and we all want to be in front of that objectionless buyer, right? We want that buyer to say, yeah, of course I need you, right? There's 5 emotional blocks that people put up before they'll say yes to you. So I have to teach you how to tap into your superpower to find the key, the master key, to unlock all 5 doors to get to your objectionless buyer. And when this gentleman said that to me, I said, because it was visual, right? The 5 doors. You, when I'm teaching you sales, you're the master key, not me. It's not me. It's about you. And at the end, if you do your secret sauce and your superpowers and you're truly a good match for that client, you will easily unlock their 5 doors blocking you to protect them from being had by the sleazy people out there, right? Of taking their money, they're in protection mode. You're the right match. Those doors open seamlessly, and the objectionless buyer is waiting and saying, where have you been my whole life? That's what I do. I teach you sales. What the heck does that mean? So that it's important, and I want everybody again to hear what Jen said. The universe will deliver the right person upon your step, but you have to be still or be open to hearing that advice, that recommendation, like put your foot here, follow the path that was in front of you with the snow and ice that we've had in New Jersey lately. So just great stories that, and they're tangible, I hope, for the people listening. We're really out of time, but one more really quick question. If everybody listening, I'd like to ask my guests to share what's the one thing you want people to remember or the tip to walk away with from our conversation today. What would that be?
To remember that they're whole and complete. And that the universe likes consistency. So I always tell clients, what are you going to do today, tomorrow, this week, this month, this quarter, this year to grow your business?
Keep thinking that.
Yeah, that's, you want that consistency of the universe, right? So, you want to keep building on your goodness. And if you're not consistent, if you're wishy-washy, if you go, oh, I want fried chicken. No, I want a steak. No, I want a hamburger. You're never going to get your order. So just think about what you can be consistent about and be that and do that.
It's true. And the universe is always listening and the universe is always conspiring to give us what we need. Right, Jen?
Right.
I also think, and I do highly recommend, and Jen is going to be working with me in my programs and we're going to be collaborating on some things because I truly believe that in order for us to become good at sales, right? That's Connie's thing. But I do believe that we need to get inside our own heads and figure out what our internal emotional blocks are, right? Like that warrior. As soon as Jen shared with me that warrior transfer, I am about transformation, but for me that means action, 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 action. And then what happens is I'm not receiving. So I really took what she taught me and shared with me, and she gave me a bunch of other stuff to use and read and work with. I'm really adopting that. And I will tell this gentleman was introduced to me after I had that reading. And I feel like he is peeling my onion back so that I'm giving the right message of how I truly can help people, that they see it and think, oh my God, I need Connie in my life. So I really do think, isn't that, it's brilliant, right? So this stuff works, right? If it works for me, the warrior who's got a very thick head, it certainly can work for you. And I do believe everybody should hook up with Jen. So email her if you have a specific question about something. It's Jennifer at nosoulslanguage.net. I will put that in the show notes. Go to her website. There's a ton of info on there as well, which is www.soullanguage.us. Again, it's information there. And I know that you offer on your website a free 15-minute.
I do.
Please share that, because that's how I met you.
Yeah, I offer a discovery session where we identify one core energy, one soul language of yours, and you'll walk away with transformational stuff and something that you can use for the rest of your life. And there's no agenda with it. I love doing them.
Yep, and it's true. There was no agenda. We had fun, right? We giggled. She was as you were unraveling the warrior one was the first one, the transformational, and she gave me like the stink eye, like, okay, so now you know what you need to do. And I was giggling because she was spot on. So she's just that good. I love her. I think everybody should do at least the 15-minute. Trust me. It's not 15 minutes wasted. It's 15 minutes of empowerment, and everybody's got 15 minutes.
It's not 15 minutes. It's like 30.
I was going to say that. I didn't want to say that though, because it's your time.
But I'm guilty of it.
I know. It is. And so hook up with Jen again. Soullanguage.us. Check her out. And please check me out. I'm doing so many amazing things out there too. Go to whitmanassociates.com. And again, if you want that free communication style assessment, that's a good place to start. So it's whitmanassociates.com/CSA. Free, check it out. And of course, my book and all the good stuff is on my website as well. Jennifer, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing just really good nuggets. And I love the examples, especially the simple one with cross here and then what do I do now? And then there were the footsteps, right? Had you not crossed there, the footsteps wouldn't have been there. And there's this whole level of synchronicities that are there if we just quiet our minds. So you've been a very good teacher for me, and I love you for that. And I'm loving that we're collaborating. So thank you so much for being in my life and for sharing all your cool stuff with my listeners. And I hope they learned as much as I did spending some time with you as well.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored, and I love you back. And thank you is just not a big enough word for what I feel for you.
You're such a love. Yes, it's a love fest. You have to listen to the gush, okay?
Get used to it.
Get used to it. That's how we roll. And everyone listening, I do hope that you will join me weekly as we question, build, and discover together that whatever the challenge is, that myself and my guests, we're really here to help you grow and move beyond those challenges to create that ease and flow that we talked about today. You've got it within you. We all do. It's a privilege that we all have. We just have to know how to tap into it. So please take Jennifer's advice. Take her up on her 15/30 minute free connection. Trust me, it is worth your while. And check out my stuff too, guys. We're really here to help you and support you. And that to me is what the show is all about. And I love doing it. And I love sharing. And I love that you're all part of my journey as well. You've been listening to Enlightenment of Change with me, your host, Connie Whitman, on webtalkradio.net. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being on this journey with me. And open your mind to what is possible. And just pause briefly today. Think about your thoughts and think about where it takes you. Change is inevitable. Thanks, everybody.